Good morning, Buffalo. You're listening to the Buffalo Podcast. My name is Brian Dudeman. With me, as always, is my very lovely co-host, Ari.
Yes, dude, man. Are you up?
I'm always up. You up?
Yes, I am. I am up and ready for this episode.
So what we're going to do is we're going to ask our guest, Eugene. Good morning.
Good morning.
You up?
Oh, I'm up.
Eugene, you want to introduce yourself to the Buffalo audience? Your first and last name, please.
My first name is Eugene. My last name is Bofill.
And what do you do in the Buffalo film community?
In the Buffalo film community, I'm primarily an actor right now, but I'm also a producer, actually, for just starting out, being a producer. My first project as a producer, we're heavily in pre-production right now, called Phantom Frights.
So right now we're going to go ahead and get into our first segment. This is called Fan Mail. So the way Fan Mail works is you all listening, the listeners, will send in your questions to the Buffalo Podcast on Facebook or Instagram, and we will ask it on air. Guest of the Week will answer. So without further ado, Ari, you want to ask the first question?
Sure. So this question I have here, it's from me. Tell us about your favorite role ever played and why it's your favorite.
I mean, that's an easy one. My favorite role right now that I've played was I just recently did a short with Rick Masi. He recently came back to directing, and after taking a little bit off, and he came to me to do a short called What Silence Looks Like. And it's basically a 7 or 8 minute long short, and it's mostly me. Just telling the story. So it was a really long monologue, but I mean, I ended up winning an award at American Fantasy Fest. Amazing Fantasy Fest, and for amazing male performance in a Western New York short. So yeah, that was my favorite role so far to date. And I guess second favorite would be the Woodsman and Slasher Days of Summer.
I think definitely that was one of many people's favorite characters.
Yeah, that was fun.
That is a great segue for my question. Going into second question for fan mail. Slasher Days of Summer has a encore screening, like they have a second show coming up, and that's also sold out. So that's twice now that Slasher Days of Summer has sold out. My question is just, what do you think is like the magic behind it? What do you think just makes it sold out?
Honestly, it's a fun movie. It's we actually had a ton of the young up and comer actors and performers. And a lot of people behind the scenes too. We have Alex Frank was on camera with Chris Cosgrave. We had Hope Muehlbauer there on crew too. In front of the camera. Alyssa Grace Adams is in it, and she did phenomenally. And I think it was because it was a nice mix of newer actors in the community and a lot of the veterans that were in it. It just in the story, it's a horror comedy. So I think we met and found the right balance. And I mean, it came out, it's a really entertaining movie. Plus, there's a lot of people out there that just they're very supportive, in the community. So, as soon as, and a lot of people didn't get a chance to see the premiere at Amazing Fantasy Fest. So that's why Kristen decided to actually she re-edited the movie, and now we're gonna be showing the director's cut of Slasher Days October 26th at the Flicks Stadium, Stadium 10. I think it's in Lancaster.
My other question was, what were you kind of expecting when it premiered Friday the 13th at Amazing Fantasy Fest and it was sold out and all of those people were there? Were you a little bit overwhelmed? Was it expected? What was the atmosphere like that night?
I mean, I was a little, it was a little stressful, and a little nerve wracking, but I totally expected that we were going to sell out. and it was cool. It's something cool to hang your hat on too, that we were the only sellout of the festival. So that was pretty awesome. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And the fact that we had a sellout crowd and the ovation that we got during the Q&A was just amazing. And I think it was for me, it was a high point in my career. Like it was just cool. It was super cool, especially being a movie fan, and something that I've always wanted to do. So it was a very cool experience.
This next one is actually also from me. So what was it like working on Guns of Eden? Can you tell us a little about your role, something we may not know?
Let's see. Greg Lamberson, who's the writer-director of Guns of Eden, when he told me about the role, from the very beginning, he told me I was going to be shirtless. So that was that was something that nobody knew. That was like the very first thing that he told me. Funny story, when he would hold these screenings called secret cinemas, screenings at the screening room over at the Boulevard Mall. And one day during one of those screenings, I would attend them with my girlfriend, who I lovingly refer to as She-Hulk. We went to one of these screenings, and he ended up showing a sizzle reel for Guns of Eden. And I remember that after he showed the sizzle reel, I turned to her and I was like, I could be in this movie. And she was like, you know what? Yeah, I think you could be in this movie too. So the next day I reached out to Greg and I'm like, hey, so this movie, Guns of Eden, that you're going to be making, I think I could be in your movie. And he replied with, it's funny, I was thinking about offering you, a role in it, because I think I have a role for you. And I'm like, all right, cool. He goes, yeah, but I'm going to tell you one thing. You're going to be topless. And I was like, really? Okay. He goes, yeah, and you're going to play a drug trafficker. I'm like, all right. So I'm going to be typecast from the beginning.
But the drugs were simulated, right?
Yeah, the drugs are fake. Thank God. But yeah, I mean, Guns of Eden was an experience, and it was a really good experience. It was my first feature. Luckily, I was fortunate enough that he made me an associate producer on Guns of Eden, and I helped him. The set where the barn, where the Sanchez crew has their meth lab. That's my buddy Mike Ronaldo's barn and horse stables. Yeah. And then the bar scene in the beginning of the movie, where Alex and Traz are talking. That's my buddy Joey's bar, Union Pub, downtown. So, plus it was pretty cool too, because I got to get a lot of my friends and people that I consider family, in the movie too. So it was like a family affair, and it was very positive, and it was very cool for it being like my first feature.
Yeah, your character was definitely memorable, and not just because you're on the opening scene for the disc where you select, play and scenes.
That was a pleasant surprise too. Like, we got the disc and we turned it on, and I was like, "Oh, damn! There's my face. I made the menu, the DVD menu. That was awesome."
Eugene, here's a fun question.
Yeah.
And this is more generic, less specific. But it's a question I haven't asked at all this season. What is your hype song? What do you listen to if you're gonna play a character like the Woodsman, and you're like, I know I'm gonna have to go on this chase, or you're someone who's gonna have to play a different character? What is your I'm getting into character mode? What's your song or your artist?
Lose Yourself by Eminem. That's what I've been listening to for years. Like, I listened to it to hype myself up before, when I used to do MMA fighting, when I used to do wrestling. I use it to hype myself up if I don't feel like working out, and to hype myself up to get a good workout in. And and even when I'm starting, to shoot, like something like the Woodsman that's like super intense, and he's killing people and stuff like that. Yeah. Lose Yourself by Eminem. Definitely. Nice. I mean, how can that song not amp you up?
So for films and theater and acting and whatnot, the song Legendary by Welshly Arms. If you don't know it, listen to it. It's a great song, great video. Legendary, the title should just explain it. But back when I did more runway modeling, actually it was Walk by Pantera.
Ari, next question.
I know we've been talking a lot about slashers, but I'm just curious if you have any funny behind the scenes stories from during slashers that we may not have heard.
Well, I mean, there's one, and I don't know if I know. I didn't get to see all of them, but I guess there was a blooper reel and a gag reel playing during the credits of Slasher Days of Summer. And I don't know if this made it into the blooper reel, but there's a scene in Slasher Days where the Woodsman is just massacring a bunch of cops. And there he goes to this one cop. This one cop is shooting at him, and he blocks the bullets with his axe blade. And kind of like the way Wonder Woman does with her bracelets. So that's how it was explained to me, how, the Woodsman deflects the bullets. So I know during one of the takes, I actually, after I did the whole deflecting the bullets, I did the Wonder Woman spin with the axe in the Woodsman costume. So I'm hoping it made it into the gag reel. If not, I got it on video anyways. So yeah, but it was really funny. That was a fun little, humorous moment.
Are you also into like the animals? Like I think that was Alyssa's story last season when we had her on, was that she was talking about how like there are just so many animals on set that she just befriended all of them and like help us like taking pictures, I think.
Yeah, I think Alyssa's like the animal whisperer, because it always seems like whenever she was around, that's when these animals, these furry creatures would come over, and she made a lot of friends. And I know actually also Hope was always picking up like little frogs and all these other like lizards and like swamp type animals, but she would find and bugs and stuff and all these weird looking bugs. And then Alyssa would have all like the furry creatures like come up to her, kind of like she was Snow White or something. It was funny. It was funny.
What's your favorite animal?
I gotta say the lion, only because I'm a Leo, King of the Jungle, all that stuff. Lion King, Mufasa.
Also Leo.
Oh, there we go. See? So you understand that.
And I'm a cat lady, so I understand as well.
Oh, there we go.
5 little lions at home.
Holy moly. I only have one. But she's big, though. Her name's Monroe, and this cat is about the size. She's probably like 24 pounds the last time I weighed her. So I mean, she probably weighs as much as all 5 of your cats put together.
So any future projects that you're able to tell us about?
Yeah, I mean, right now, like I said earlier, we're heavily into pre-production on Phantom Frights. Phantom Frights is basically what we're doing is going to be an episode of a fictional paranormal investigation show. So, I came up with the idea about a year and a half ago that I wanted to do this, but I wanted to do it as a feature first. But, after a while, after seeing, the way things were going with Slasher Days and then other projects that I've been on, and, I didn't think I wanted to take on a full feature as my first, role as a producer. So I figured we'll just do a short first. I talked to Kristen Skeet, who directed Slasher Days, and I told her about the story that I had in mind, and she offered to write it, and I was like, yeah, of course. So she ended up writing the script. Oh my god. And the script was dynamite. As soon as she showed me the final draft, I was like, I was very, very impressed. After that, we started getting, casting together. We started putting together a crew. We got most of the crew from Slasher Days on Phantom Frights. So, we're going to have Alex Frank on it. We're going to have Chris Cosgrave on it. Hope Muehlbauer is going to be on it, in front of the camera. Alyssa, Grace Adams, she's going to be one of the lead investigators. In terms of the cast, the rest of the cast, we have Dominic Luongo, who's going to be playing my co-host on there, and then we have a newcomer, Allison Courtney. She's going to be playing the role of Olivia, who's going to be like our person in the van, so to speak. So she's going to give our characters all like the history of the ghosts and the mansion that we're going to be investigating and everything. And then we got my girlfriend, Her real name is Desiree, but again, I call her She-Hulk. She's going to be playing one of the ghosts because we're going to have 3 ghosts in it. So she's going to be playing one of the ghosts. Then we have Golden Groves, one half of the September Brothers. He's going to be playing another ghost. And then my good friend Joey Ferrudo, who, like I mentioned earlier, the friend who owned the bar that they used at Guns of Eden, he's the one that owns Union Pub. He's going to be playing one of the other ghosts, and it just so happens that he was my co-star and my scene partner in What Silence Looks Like. So this is going to be What Silence Looks Like was his first role ever acting, and I think he did a great job. And I can't wait to see what he's going to do with this role of this ghost. It's a super funny script, so it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
All right, I think that does it for fan mail. Listeners, remember, if you want your questions asked, send to the Buffalo You Up on Facebook or Instagram. We will take a quick break. Brian Dudeman, co-host.
Ari Nicole, as always.
Guest of the week,
Eugene Bofill.
And we'll be back with more. And we're back. You're listening to the Buffalo Podcast. My name is Brian Dudeman, co-host Ari.
Yes, I'm up. Yes, I'm up. What? Oh, Dude Man. Hey, are you up?
Always up, always ready to podcast. Eugene, you up?
Oh my God, I'm up. I am so up.
Ari, you want to set up the next segment for the listeners and for our guest?
Sure. So this next segment we like to call Plug Yourself. This is where we ask our guest, hey, where might we be able to see your work? Do you have any videos on YouTube we can look up? Do you have an Instagram we can follow you on? Where in the world is Eugene Bofill?
I mean, right now it seems like like I'm everywhere. There's I mean, you can find me on Facebook. I have a few Facebook accounts, but my main account is my name, Eugene Bofill. Just look me up and, friend request me on there. On there, I have, if you ever want to know or are interested in all the goings-ons in my life, that it's on Facebook. Like I'm one of these people that I am all about social media. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, social media is the devil, blah, 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 all that stuff. Not me. The way I see it, social media is cool. Social media is something to put out there to, promote yourself, to, stay in touch with friends that otherwise, if we didn't have social media, they'd be out of your life. Like, I have friends, I'm still in touch with friends from grade school, who, normally that wouldn't have happened if there wasn't social media. But yeah, I mean, I do everything on there, from my projects that I'm promoting to, the date nights that I go on with my girlfriend, to, gym, marketing my gym, Reps Fitness, on there. Yeah, I do it all on there. On Instagram, same thing. You can find me under my name, Eugene Bofill. Also, my gym, Reps Fitness, has an Instagram account on also, and we call it a podcast, but it's not really a podcast because we've been trying to launch it for about 4 years now. We have a quote unquote podcast, my girlfriend and I, called His and Hers Horror, where we have an Instagram account right now for it. And what we've been doing for the last few years is just to keep the account active, we've been doing movie reviews on horror movies. Most of the reviews that we do are on older movies, and usually movies that are screening at Thursday Night Terrors, and then we'll do some first run new movies, and we'll do like these little the reviews. Sometimes they'll be 2 to 3 minutes long. Sometimes they'll go 8 or 9 minutes because we go off the rails and just start talking to different people, and Peter Vullo, who runs Thursday Night Terrors, will jump in and give, his opinion on, the movies and stuff. So, we got that going on. And that's how you can find me on social media, and basically just keep up to date on all the stuff that, that I'm doing and that I'm promoting. Like I said before, we're doing Phantom Frights. Right now, we're in pre-production for that. We launched an Indiegogo account for that, and we were trying to reach a goal of 7,500, which was basically just the bare bones minimum that we needed to produce the short. And we ended up making our goal by the time that the campaign was supposed to end. But now we have a stretch goal that we're trying to achieve. So we're trying to get it up to 8,500, and we have until the 19th to do that. So if you guys are interested in going on there and what's the word I'm looking for? Donating. I mean, you don't really donate because we have a ton of perks on there that you could purchase. We have t-shirts, lapel pins. You could even be in the movie, or you could be a voice in the movie. We don't really do like the pay for play stuff, because it seems like a lot of people don't like that. But I mean, it's fundraising at the end of the day. I mean, with Phantom Frights, like I said, we have a stretch goal of 8,500, so we're trying to meet that. So if you guys are interested in donating or purchasing a perk, just go on the Indiegogo.com website. On the search bar, look for Phantom Frights, and our campaign should pop right up. And then you can just, look through it. There's going to be a synopsis of what the short is going to be about. There's a short little video on it. We have bios for everybody. Pretty much everybody involved in it. So that's going to be pretty cool. And like I said, it's going, I think, until the 19th. And then speaking of the 19th, there's, I've been talking about Thursday Night Terrors. There's also an alternate movie series, horror cult, obscure cult movie series called Silk Screams Presents. And they do these movies at the screening room. They're going to be showing A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original Nightmare on Elm Street, on the 19th. And Will Terrence, who runs it, asked me to do the intro for it because I'm a huge Freddy Krueger fan. So it's gonna be fun. I'm lying if I say that I'm not nervous. A little nervous about doing this, because even though I can talk a lot and I'm confident talking, and I have no problem like performing in front of the camera and doing stuff, it's gonna be a little weird doing an intro and just talking about my interest in Freddy Krueger and how much I love the movie and the series and how I'm a big horror fan in general. But it's gonna be a crowd that's mixed with a lot of people that I know, a lot of close friends and family, and strangers. I think I'm a little more comfortable doing stuff and talking in front of strangers than I am in front of people that I know, which is kind of weird, because you would think your friends and family are a little more supportive of you, but I don't know. For some reason, I just go balls to the wall when it's a bunch of complete strangers. But I'm going to be doing that on October 19th. Those tickets, I actually have a few tickets left for sale for those, for A Nightmare on Elm Street. They're $10 a piece. If you're interested, look me up on Facebook or on Instagram. Send me a DM, and I'll be able to collect the money, put you on the list, and you get a pretty cool little collectible ticket for it.
Pause. Resumed.
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier about Thursday Night Terrors. Thursday Night Terrors is basically a horror and cult movie series that's been going on for 8 years now. It's currently in its 15th season. They're going to be showing, I think the next show is going to be, we're in October, right? Yeah, so in 2 weeks they're going to be showing the original Halloween. So that's gonna be fun, and they're gonna make it into a Halloween party too, which is always a great time because everybody goes there and dresses up as their favorite horror characters. It just so happens that I with my girlfriend, she was never into horror movies. She's one of these people that's scared of everything. Yet, she got with me to do this, the podcast, His or Hers Horror Podcast. And that's kind of like the gimmick of the podcast, because I'm, a horror fanatic and she's a horror novice. So basically when we do our knee-jerk reviews, it's mainly to get like a lay person's opinion on horror movies. So if somebody who's not really a horror fan listens or watches the knee-jerk review, and based on what she says, if she gives it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, maybe they'll watch the movie. Excuse me. Yeah, the Thursday Night Terrors, that was started by Peter Vullo, like I said, 8 years ago. The way I found out about it was a random Facebook post, sponsored post for Demons, which was Dario Argento Italian horror movie, and ended up going. That was from what I understand, that was the second showing ever for the first season of Thursday Night Terrors. I guess he started off with Dead Alive. And I mean, I've gone to I've only missed a handful of screenings, but I've been a Terrorist faithful for 8 years now, which is insane. Before that, me being a lifelong, horror fan, I kind of felt like the odd man out and kind of like a misfit because I didn't think that Buffalo had like a horror community here, and they did. Like once Thursday Night Terrors started, all these people are just coming out of the woodwork, and these last 8 years, I've met and I've formed these relationships with these people. We call each other, one of the taglines for Terrors is family. And, we definitely have a nice little tight knit group of family members for Thursday Night Terrors. It's great. And, and Peter is just, he's a hell of a guy. He's a funny dude. And, I enjoyed our friendship based on, me coming to Terrors as much as I did. Like him and I have formed a pretty close relationship, and him and I are pretty good friends now. We call each other brothers. Oh yeah. And my gym too. I talked previously about my gym, Reps Fitness. I've been in the fitness industry for 20 years now, a little over 20 years now. I started working at the Buffalo Athletic Club downtown. That was my very first gym that I worked at. And then, worked for them for about 7.5 years, almost 8 years. Then took a little bit of a break, quit the company. Then LA Fitness came to town. I was at LA Fitness for about 4 years. Got tired of their stuff and their politics and their favoritism and all that. So I decided to go out on my own and get my personal training certification and become a personal trainer. After that, somehow a series of events happened that I was fortunate enough to open my own gym and, open it up as Reps Fitness. And, it's been going strong for 7 years now. The gym is located at the Tri-Main building on Main Street in Buffalo. And but next year it's going to be 10 years. 10 years that I've had a Reps Fitness. Started out as a personal training company, but the name Reps Fitness as a company, we're going to be 10 years strong starting next year. Which is huge. And it's cool too because I like that job. I love being a personal trainer, and a gym owner because I'm one of these people. I'm very social, and I like being around different people and meeting different people from different walks of life and vocations. And you get all these people with their personalities. And, some people with the personalities you mesh real well and you vibe real well with, others not so much. But, with being in the personal training game, you get to weed out, the scrubs that, don't think that you don't think are going to work out. And, doing this for as long as I've been doing this, I've met some of my closest friends, doing this stuff and interacting with them. Most of my friends and some of my close friends that I consider family, I met at work, or at the gym. I met my girlfriend at the gym. I met her at the BAC. This was, it's going on 13 years now. So I met her at the BAC then. We're going to be actually celebrating our 4-year anniversary on the 20th of this month. But I met her at the gym, 13 years ago, and now we're a couple. And a lot of people, like my good friend, I call him my little bro, Kevin. I met him. He worked for under me at the BAC. Him and his wife Colleen. They're my brother and my sister. Their kids I consider my nieces. They call me Uncle Eugene. Actually, it's pretty cool because they both my nieces want to be actresses, when they grow up. So I kind of like finagled them a little cameo part in Dingus Day. So there's gonna be they're gonna have a cool little scene in Dingus Day, and yeah, it's just, I love affecting people's lives positively, and what better way to do it than to get them looking and feeling the best that they've ever looked and felt. It's awesome. It's awesome. And motivating them. And also, the business is energy transference. So, whether I like it or not, I have to come in positive every single day. And that's one of those things where, I think because I put out that positivity and those happy vibes, that's why I've been able to do this for as long as I have. Because, I love talking to people. I love hearing their background stories. I love hearing like what interests them, what kind of vices they have, what sort of lives they lead. And in turn, I like telling people about myself too. So, it's kind of like a lot of reciprocity there, which is cool. And I enjoy it. And, yeah, that's something. The hope is, this is my, being the personal trainer and a gym owner is my main career right now. But, since I jumped back into doing the acting thing, 3.5 years ago, what I'm trying to do is trying to veer and trying to maybe, break through with the acting and the producing, and then having the gym as my backup. So we'll see if it happens. Fingers crossed.
Well, I think that does it on Plug Yourself. Again, thank you, Eugene, for being a guest here on our podcast.
So now we're going to jump into the next segment. This one is called A Hero's Journey. So this is where I ask you, where'd you get your start in film? And also, I think you said that you've done some writing. And your actor's story, Hero's Journey.
Man, to start off, I've been into acting in movies since I was a little kid. I'm Hispanic, and I was born and raised in New York City, and I'm half Dominican, half Cuban. The Cuban side of my family was a very artistic side of the family. My uncle was a really good pianist and composer, and he put out a bunch of records and stuff in Cuba. Moved from Cuba to Manhattan to try to start and make something of himself here, and he ended up doing really, really well. And my aunt, his sister, she was a really good theater actress in Cuba. And I remember when I was a little kid, she would actually take me to her shows when she would do her shows. Obviously they were Spanish speaking because she was a Spanish speaker, but it was cool. Like I ended up getting transfixed, and because I was part of that world for so long and growing up in that world, that I think it's just ingrained in my DNA to be a performer and an entertainer. The first role that I remember ever having was, I think it was either kindergarten or first grade, and we did a stage production of Where the Wild Things Are, and I got cast as Max, the main kid. So I remember doing that, and I remember my aunt, she was so excited for me. She ended up making this king's robe for me, and she made up this crown for me. And there's pictures. I think my mom still has the pictures of me in the outfit. I'm sure if you've read the book, you know that he has like this jumper with like the tail and the ears. Well, we didn't have that, so I had to wear long johns to kind of mimic it. But I remember us doing that and me feeling so comfortable on stage. And it's been something that's been, throughout my life, it's been a thing. I was doing, I did like high school productions, musicals. We ended up doing Grease. I was part of the ensemble for that. Then my junior year, we ended up doing Godspell. I ended up getting a decent role for that. And then my senior year in high school, we did the musical Oliver, and they ended up casting me as the bad guy, Bill Sykes, which was awesome. I got to murder somebody, and then my character gets killed at the end. Spoilers if you haven't seen Oliver. But after high school, I ended up moving to Buffalo, and I went to Canisius College. And right away, I looked up the theater program there, and I ended up doing a bunch of productions with them. I ended up starring in a few plays, and also I started learning the tech side of it too. So I learned how to do lights. I learned how to do stage crew stuff, building sets. That was a lot of fun. And then I ended up taking a few years later. I ended up taking a few classes at ECC. I ended up taking a few acting classes there, and my my teacher was Terry Bronstein, and I'm sure you guys know who she is. She's like the talking proud lady. She was in, I don't know if you guys have seen Unbelievable lately. It was the movie about the family during the Super Bowl, and the Bills were in the Super Bowl. Well, she had a role in that. And we kind of actually got to reconnect on the set for that. But I ended up doing, taking the acting classes then. Then I did a couple of commercials back then. This was like late 90s, kind of. At one point, I thought I was good enough to go to Juilliard. So at one point, I actually auditioned for Juilliard. Went back to the city, went through the whole audition process. It was very humbling actually doing that, because I ended up auditioning with 132 other people, and after they went through all the auditions, they told us to come back in a few hours for callbacks, and they were going to put the list of the people that made the callbacks. So went back a few hours later after the audition, and only 2 people made callbacks out of 132 people. So I didn't feel that bad that I didn't make it into Juilliard, but it's okay. At least I got, bragging rights that at least I got to audition and get the experience for it. After that, I ended up having my daughter in '99. Her name is Morgan. She's 25 now. So I kind of had to put all those dreams aside, and I had to get a career and a job, and to help raise her, and was doing that for the last 20 years or so. After that, now she's an adult. She's, like I said, she's 25 now. She's got her graduate degree from Fredonia. She's a teacher in the Orchard Park school system. So I figured, you know what? I raised my kid. Everything's good. She's a full-grown adult, well-adjusted, all that good stuff, pillar of society. So now I can go and follow my dreams again. And that's when everything started, the ball started rolling with Guns of Eden, with Greg cast me in Guns of Eden. We did that. I didn't really get any offers or anything after principal photography, but it wasn't until the premiere Guns of Eden at the Buffalo Dreams Film Festival. After that, after people saw me in it, then the offers started coming in, and people wanted to work with me, and it's been a really, really cool experience. I ended up hooking up with this agency called the Farm Agency. I think they're out of Lackawanna or Cheektowaga, but Dominic Longo ended up referring me for this commercial that they were doing. They were doing a marketing ad for their company, and they needed somebody to play a tattoo artist. And it was funny because they showed, the way the story goes is they showed Dominic the storyboard for the commercial, and the tattoo artist in the storyboard looked just like me. It was a bald guy with a beard and a tank top. He told them, "Don't look for anybody. I got the perfect guy for you." So then he sends them a picture of me from Guns of Eden, bald head, beard, and a tank top. And they were like, "Oh my God." So we ended up doing the commercial for that. That in turn, that relationship with them ended up getting me the Topps commercial, because I was in the Topps commercial last year, and from what I hear, I guess it's making the rounds again on TV and online. And I ended up doing a commercial for Kelly Blue Book, and it was all through the Farm Agency, and that got a lot of traction. And then what else did I do? I mean, we did Slasher Days, Unbelievable. I'm doing Dingus Day right now, and it's been a whirlwind. Like things are going a lot faster than I thought they were going to. It was kind of weird and a little discouraging and disheartening that 10 month span between when we ended principals of photography for Guns of Eden and then when they actually premiered it. Like, I was just like, okay, well, I guess it's not going to happen. At least I got a good experience out of it. But man, it's just snowballed since then, and I'm so appreciative, and I'm so like happy that everything's been going so well, and I love pretty much all the people that I've met and I've gotten to work with, and my goal is because one of the things that I've noticed too is that the Buffalo film community as a whole, they are kind of cliquey. There's like pockets of people here that all work together, and there's pockets of people here that all work together, and it's kind of like a little bit like high school. But I'm one of these people in high school and in college. I was that guy that I wasn't any part of any clique. Like, I was friends with everybody, and I associated and worked with everybody, and that's my goal here, is to work with everybody in the area. And and I mean, it seems like it's happening. Feel very fortunate that to have been getting the offers and the projects that I've been getting, and also that I got a chance now to make my own stuff and produce my own stuff, because at the end of the day, all I want to do is just entertain people. That's it. That's all I want to do. I want to put out stuff that's fun and entertaining, whether, it may not be Oscar quality stuff, but as long as somebody sees one of my projects and they're like, damn, that was good, or I had fun, I'm satisfied. I'm totally satisfied.
That was really awesome. I love that. That's going to do it for Hero's Journey. We're going to take a quick break. Brian Dudeman, my co-host.
Ari Nicole, as always.
Guest of the week,
Eugene Bofill.
And we'll be back with more. And we're back. You're listening to the Buffalo Podcast. My name is Brian Dudeman, co-host.
Ari Nicole, how you doing, Dudeman? You up?
I am up. Are you up?
I am still up, and I'm still excited for this episode.
Nice. Eugene, you up?
Oh, I'm still up. Yes.
Usually I do this, but I think you haven't had that much of a chance to talk this episode, so I'm going to give you the chance to do final thoughts, set that up.
Oh, wow. Dudeman says I didn't talk that much. That's a rarity. So yes, Eugene, we are so glad to have you as a guest on our podcast. And our next segment we call Final Thoughts, where we like to ask our guests what you thought about being on the podcast, anything you'd like to share, and any potential advice you might have for future guests.
Or future filmmakers as well, because I liked what Ted did last week. That was brilliant. So I'm like, that's a good thing to add on.
I mean, thank you guys for having me on. This is cool. This is it's cool being on the other side of it, because having done a couple of podcasts myself, I've never been a guest on a podcast, so this is awesome. It's nice being on the other side of it. Let me see, in terms of what sort of advice can I give future actors, performers, or filmmakers. Honestly, if this is something that you're motivated and you're interested in doing, and you've been thinking about doing it, and you've kind of been procrastinating and you're seeing other people do it, the only thing I can say is get out there, get in people's faces, and just do it. That's it. I mean, just go out and do it. Find Facebook groups, find auditions, find casting calls, find stuff, whatever you're interested in doing in the industry. Just go out and do it. That's it. I can't give any better advice than that, because we all try to do stuff, and sometimes we succeed, sometimes we fail, but still, as long as you're there and you do it, it's better to do it and maybe it not go the way you expected, but that's better than regretting it. and going, damn, I should have done that. Damn, I should have auditioned for that role. Damn, I should have, gone on and be a PA. I should have taken a class. I should have done something, the way I see it, I try to live my life with no regrets. So I try and do as much as I can, and in the realm of stuff that I'm interested in. So yeah, that's all I got is just go out and do it. And also, I can't stress the importance of having family and friends that support what you do and that are there for you and help you out, or even if they're like a cheerleader, I've mentioned her quite a few times already on the podcast, but my girlfriend, She-Hulk, she's my biggest cheerleader, and she's been so supportive and has put up with a lot, since I started doing this again 3.5 years ago, and God bless her, because she puts up with a lot of long nights, a lot of nights, by herself when I'm out shooting till 2-3 o'clock in the morning, or, I'm doing other stuff. But, she's there. She's my biggest supporter. I love her to death. And, thank you. That's all the advice that I got.
I would like to add on to that, that like for me, because I would always like pitch ideas, no one ever picked them in college. So I just realized that like at the end of the day, man, you can't just sit around forever waiting for someone to call on you. If you want to get it done, go out and do it yourself.
Yeah, that's it. And that's kind of how the the Phantom Frights, that's how that was born. It's just, I kept seeing these success stories of these big name actors. They're big name actors now, but back then they, nobody was knocking on their door to cast them in anything. They're going on many, many auditions and, getting rejected here and there. And it's one of those things where, if nobody's going to cast you for something, make your own project up. Make something up, hire somebody to write something for you to star in and produce it. And that's basically where the idea for Phantom Frights was. Like, I didn't know if, I was going to get more offers. So I'm like, you know what? Time to start my own stuff and just keep it rolling.
So we do this when I remember. So only when I remember. Luckily, for a very long time, I haven't forgot. I don't think there's a single episode last season or this season that I forgot. But what I like to do is flip it on the guest. So we've asked you a lot of questions today on the podcast. What I like to do right now is give you the opportunity to ask either Ari or myself one question.
I mean, I'm real interested to know what you have going on in terms of future projects or stuff up and coming.
I just uploaded West End. That's got about over 700 views, which is great. I'm going to upload West End Girls soon. Right now I'm filming Mark of the Town. That's been an interesting journey. I did the Buffalo 48, so that was called Damon and Bullet. So I'm going to release that soon.
Yeah, no, I just screened twice a short film that I helped co-produce and co-write with Shane Cole. We screened that at the Amazing Fantasy Fest. Shane reached out to me after Guns of Eden. He was actually on set that day. So we've been talking about this project. And back when I was in school for theater in 2011, 2012, I ended up getting roped into co-producing a feature that never happened because I was not the actual producer, and the producer could not produce. But I learned that I could do a lot production wise if I really needed to. Acting has always been my passion. But so 12 years later, getting to successfully co-produce a short. It was really cool to see that come to fruition and be a success and see people's reactions on that. Casting Mark Bogomil in that short was a very paramount decision in many ways. Not only did we not have anyone else in mind to play the role, we needed somebody specifically that size-wise could work with my build, because I had to be able to overpower him. And Mark and I had first met back 12 years ago on this feature that I had gotten roped into co-producing. So the fact that Mark and I had worked together way back when, and it just never seemed to happen, but we were able to come to 2024 12 years later and create something that would not have happened without him. So it was very full circle, fulfilling, because showed that, hey, we knew what we were doing this whole time. We just needed to be paired with the right people who also knew what we were doing.
There you go.
And yeah, Twice is it's lined up for a few more festivals, so we can't release it publicly until we know which festivals are going to be screening it and their protocols on that. But we're hoping to get Twice seen by many more people and impact others and go from there.
So I've been doing this thing this season where at the end I'll ask the guest, what is one thing in your life that keeps you motivated, and or one thing in your life that you're just very appreciative of?
Okay. I mean, honestly, I already kind of like mentioned it earlier, but I mean, the one thing in life that motivates me, and that I'm appreciative of is my lady, is She-Hulk. Like I said before, she is my biggest cheerleader to date. And like I said before, God bless her. She has the patience of a saint, and she puts up with a lot of my stuff. And, she's still here. She's still with me. So, and she does motivate me to be a better person, and to, be a better performer, and to be a success at this stuff, because, it's one of those things where, I'm looking to eventually, marry her, and, I kind of want to provide a really good life for her while doing the stuff that I'm passionate about. So yeah, she's at the top.
So until next time, Buffalo, I'm Brian Dudeman, my co-host.
Ari Nicole.
And until next time, Buffalo, we just have one question for you. 1, 2, 3. You up?
What's up, guys? I'm Eugene Bofill. I am going to be signing this book, which is chock full of autographs. And I'm very fortunate that the Buffalo You Up podcast has asked me to add my autograph to this. Oh, this is so exciting. There we go. Right there.